Would you consider yourself a girly man?
It depends how you define girly man.
Well, as you
Like
define girly man,
metrosexual kind of girly man.
I don't know. What do you? First of all, do you find that the word girly man? Do you think that is?
It's outdated.
But is it rude?
Is
it considered politically incorrect?
No, it's not politically correct. No.
I mean, it's an insult if you call someone a girly man, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like I don't know how to say this. It's like calling somebody. It's worse, but it's like back in the day you call someone dumb or stupid.
Is calling someone a girly man and calling them gay?
No.
Because at least according to this article here I'm about ready to get into, a lot of people would consider that.
I mean, there's no way to twist it as not a derogatory thing. Yeah. I just don't know what it's derogatory to.
Yeah. China's authoritarian group government yesterday came out with a brand new ban.
They ban a lot of things there.
They do. You know, as bad as we hear about the Taliban and all the things they do to women and
I know, but there's a big difference.
China's like a close second.
No.
They're pretty close.
Look, and we make you wear a mask here.
They are banning men that they consider effeminate from appearing on state television.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's about as bad as its grip on the nation's culture tightens. As part of President Xi Jinping's national rejuvenation, which demands businesses, schools, culture, and religions as they adhere to the Communist Party's vision for a more powerful China. Under the guidelines, broadcasters must resolutely put an end to sissy men and other abnormal aesthetics.
Oh, my God.
Using an offensive slang term literally meaning girly guns. Officials are concerned that Chinese pop stars and their fans are emulating skinny and androgynous South Korean and Japanese singers and actors, and young men in the country are now encouraged to be masculine enough.
Oh, that's going to go real
well. Communists have tried to minimize celebrity worship by demanding broadcasts avoid promoting vulgar internet celebrities and wealth.
Oh, go ahead.
Instead, the show should vigorously promote excellent Chinese traditional culture, revolutionary culture, and advance the social
this is why people come
norms.
This is why people come to our country.
As a state to crack down on the influence of celebrities, the works of popular actresses Zoe vanished from streaming platforms overnight, and another actress, Zing Xiong, I hope I'm saying that right, was fined $46 million on tax evasion charges yesterday.
Taxing for what? That's a lot. Well, that's a different thing.
Under the new rules, also, children and teens will only be allowed to play online games 3 hours a week.
No, I heard about this.
And never on school days.
Yeah, so this.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know.
In this government, for Americans, the freedom's great, right? In China, they are going to enforce the rule where kids can no longer play online games for more than 3 hours a week.
So are we freaking out on
nothing
that one?
on school days.
So I think that's really interesting because where you started, I'm like, okay, that ain't going to go well. Right? And the other thing is they can't control that. They think they can, but they're not going to control that.
Oh, they can control it.
They're not.
Dude, they know they're...
broadcast stuff, yes.
You don't think the Chinese know every IP address? No, they know exactly. They're going to be looking. They're going to be delving into little things. And hey, someone was playing Crossy Road here at 9:00 on Tuesday night. Who is that? I mean, if they want to, they control all that. They control the internet. They control everything over there. They can tell you. They can see if you're looking at porn on a Wednesday night at 6.
They can do that here too.
Huh?
They can do that.
They could, but they don't.
Right.
Over there, if they want to enforce, they will.
They do, but they don't care.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Somebody is, because when I did it last night, I got a message this morning, hey, you want to come over at 5:30 today? I'm like, who the hell is this?
That's exactly. So I think what I was going to say
That's why I was a little late this morning.
It was like bad. And then the kid one was, hey, that's not so bad. I mean, that's what we should be doing as parents.
You're also talking about a country that just recently, last week, are now allowing parents to have 3 kids.
Yeah.
They're only allowed to have 1 forever until like 2015. Then you could have 2, and now they're saying you can have 3. Well, they get no workers. It's all like 75-year-old old men over there. They're like, hey, you know what? We need some new blood around here. Right?
I don't know what to like. What do you want me to say? The psychological part, like that's. I mean, this is why.
What do you consider?
It's so pathetic. Like I don't even know what to like. I don't even know what to say. Are you really? So you're going to make cultural norms that restrictive, and it happens in other countries.
Yeah.
And you know what the difference is? Here, we do that. We just don't do it by law, right? So we have bigotry, we have racism, we have stereotypes, we have homophobia, we have all those things. Individuals who identify in those groups are ridiculed, persecuted, sometimes not given jobs, not paid as much. All that shit goes on in this country. The difference is it's not legislated.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, so I guess I think that's better, right? I think it's better that it's not, but we're not that far off from how we treat it. Because here's the interesting thing. That's the law, right? That's the law in China. You couldn't do this. But you see this a lot. If you surveyed people.
Yeah.
And you got their honest opinion.
Oh.
How much of that is the collective opinion versus the opinion of a few trying to create a culture? We had this here with Jim Crow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's the thing. It's not any different. It's not any different other than we have backed off. I mean, we talk about this all the time. In our state, interracial marriage.
Yeah, the effeminate part of this is I can't get past the effeminate part.
Right, because they're not even saying whether you're homosexual or not, right? They're not saying I mean maybe they're not. They're saying effeminate.
You know, and I always go back to relationships. Women love I know
the manly man. I know
women love manly men. They're going to say they love a man who's secure in himself and that can wear skinny jeans and act effeminate if he wants to, they appreciate that. But women will always tell you, even the ones that sit there and say, "No, I love the fact that my man is sensitive with himself and that he can talk about his loves and fears." They will with him. But when you're attracted to somebody, you're not going after the guy wearing the really tight shirt with the skinny pants and the keds and the pants are up to here like capri pants. You're not.
But stop. First of all, you're acting your age.
And
now you're acting your age because yes, at your age, no, but now you're talking fashion trends. Right, so now you're talking. So just
well, that's what this is.
No, but
this is men acting, and it's fat because a lot of it's based on celebrities. And when you're a celebrity, and we think you're totally cool with your security in yourself, and you're rich, you're already powerful. So if you're who's the dude that wore the dress?
Harry Styles.
If you're Harry Styles, you can wear a dress. And
women love you.
And women love you because you're being a real man and you're doing what. But if you're Harry Styles, you're working at McDonald's and you pull that shit off, guess what? It ain't happening.
But listen, again,
when you're rich and famous, you can do that.
Stop it. Now you're being you're acting old.
I'm speaking for every man. I'm speaking for every man.
No, you're speaking for every man over 50, which is fine.
Yeah.
You want to speak for every man over 50? Go ahead. But you ask 20-year-olds about Harry Styles, 20-year-old straight women about Harry Styles, and I know because I have one.
Yeah.
And the dress didn't make him more appealing. He was appealing. It'd be the equivalent of Brad Pitt. We talked about this. I mean, this is just my Brad Pitt could wear anything he wants.
Yeah.
And women still love it.
Well, sure.
Well, let's use Brad Pitt. You know
why?
Brad Pitt.
Do you know why?
Because he's a manly man?
Because Brad Pitt was a manly man.
Oh. Brad
yes,
Pitt
he was.
Got the most. Brad Pitt.
Clint Eastwood could wear a dress right now, but he's been Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood we know. And Harry Styles is the same way.
Brad Pitt is a pretty boy. Brad Pitt
He's a very attractive man, but he was in Fight Club, for God's sakes. He was beating the hell out of people. Brad Pitt is a manly man. Now, he's a very attractive guy, but you look at any guy,
how are you defining
Ben Affleck is the biggest pussy out there right now that I've ever seen, but he was Batman, and that's what women love.
God. Listen to what you're saying.
True.
Though. But listen to what you're saying. You're talking about the character, not the person.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we know these people from. We don't know Ben Affleck. I don't know what he does or what he eats in the morning or how he does.
J-Lo.
All we know is we think that Clint Eastwood is a badass. We thought John Wayne was a badass. Hell, we thought Rock
Hudson
was a badass and he was gay. So that's what we think. So Brad Pitt was a badass.
Rock
and he dated a lot of good women.
Rock Hudson still was a badass. He was gay and a badass.
He was a gay badass.
I mean, listen. Okay,
and he would not be allowed in China now.
No, so if we're going to go there, look at the NFL. I'm blanking on the NFL lineman who was gay and ridiculed.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't think he's a badass? You don't think he's a manly man? Your sexual identity doesn't.
Well, at that point, it doesn't really matter because women don't care because women are like, we know he's gay, so there's no reason that we don't care whether we like him or not. They don't. If you could be a badass and you could kick the hell out of people and be gay, and women are like, whatever. But I mean, again, I'm not condoning this at all, and I'm not saying. I sometimes I just wonder, as an older individual, why guys do seem to want to get in touch with their, and again, good for you. It's great. It's not what I dress, and I certainly, as a 55-year-old man, I wouldn't look good in skinny pants. I like bigger stuff.
You could pull off skinny pants because of the way you're built.
I saw a guy.
You could listen.
And here's the thing: if you're good looking,
yes,
you're a good looking guy.
So are
you could pull off skinny pants, but you have some effeminate sides. You do, and that's okay.
Yeah,
and you're very comfortable with yourself, and you're married, and you can do whatever you want.
I'm as metrosexual as they
okay
can.
But if you're a good looking guy, it's like whenever you see a shirt on a male model for a Men's Warehouse or a suit, damn, that looks good. And when I go in and put it on, I don't look the same because I ain't that dude.
Well, but listen, I'm the same way.
So if you're a really good looking guy, we used to have a producer here.
Yes.
That came in that wore stuff that I could never pull off, even if I was in my 20s, because he was a dancer. He was in great shape.
Yes.
He could wear tight things. He could wear a Britney Spears shirt and pull it off. I wouldn't wear that kind of thing, but even in my 20s, I don't think I could pull that off.
It's what fits.
Yeah.
It's what
Would you consider him effeminate? He was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was a manly man.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. You know, it's interesting to me. It's interesting to me how guys shy away from. I mean, you need to be who you are, right? You need, and there are men. I mean, this is. I'm not going here, but I am.
Go there, do it.
No. This is the whole gender identity. This is gender fluidity. I mean, we are in that realm, right? So there is a difference between sort of gender identity and sexual identity. So you can be a heterosexual, more effeminate man. Let's use me as an example, right? We can use me as an example. I am more effeminate than maybe some other heterosexual men.
Yeah, I'd say
I'm totally straight.
Yeah.
Right? So my point is that when men start shying away from, like you said, like just use the word sensitivity.
Yeah.
I can't be sensitive because I'm a man. Yeah. I see this in the workplace all the time.
Or I can't be seen crying.
Yes.
Yeah, just let it be.
To me, that part of it, that's you being a wimp, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That is, because what that's telling me is and you may have been conditioned this way and society and all that stuff, but what you're telling me is you're afraid to feel. You're afraid to cry. Yeah. Like to me, that's not being a man. That's being weak.
Yeah.
That's being weak. Now, are there times when we cry and times when we don't cry? And is it different for men and women? Yes. But that's the thing is, look at you, fern man. You got this.
It's not a fern.
Okay. It's a
plant
symbol.
You can't kill. That's a man's plant.
But here's the other thing, and I will say this about you.
Men
that
get
a lot of people, your friends know this. I'm going to make breaking news here. Your friends know this. I know this. You, Mr. Manly Man, speak for all men, are one of the most sensitive.
Oh, stop.
You are?
No.
I'm going to put it out there. I see you get all verklempt. You think about your kids, you start crying.
Kids are different.
See what I mean? But but come on. You are.
A real man loves his kids. Yeah, now that turns women on. I always do things.
Are you faking it?
Huh?
But you're not faking it.
No, I'm not faking it, but the women love when you.
Yeah, but I've seen you be sensitive around me.
Yeah.
It's not to turn me
on.
If
I'm holding the hand of my 9-year-old daughter, I'm making sure that I have oil underneath my fingernails so I can do both. I just changed the oil in my car, and I can take my daughter to a father-daughter dance.
Yeah, can you cry?
Can I cry? Yeah. on cue, hello.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. I mean, I think that's the part that is sad is, I mean, one, you're creating, that's classic sort of ultra-communism, right? We're restricting the way people express their natural selves. Yeah. And my point is they do it here. They just don't legislate it. I mean, if they legislated it here, you'd have people be leaving in droves.
And I also think...
in fact, we have laws. Think about it. We have laws. Flip it.
Yeah.
We have laws to protect from that.
I also think that, and it's not really fair, the word effeminate here, because we're not using that word correctly.
Yes.
We're hammering on the word effeminate because just to act like you're more feminine is not necessarily a bad thing, even if you're a guy, I guess. But this was poached mainly because of celebrities.
Yes.
And no one's bigger than the whole. This is China.
Exactly.
This is a revolutionary
I get that.
culture and no one's going to be bigger than us, right?
I get that.
And so the country comes first.
What's real interesting,
And which is there's something to be said about
so
that.
what are you going to do that here?
No, we would never do that here, but in China you can. And so it's kind of like, don't get too big for your britches, big boy, or we'll knock you down.
I get that.
And we're seeing that in South Korea. We're seeing this with some of the boy bands. And again, when you're talking about 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds that are doing this, and they do have a platform and the power to get people to emulate them, that's the scary part. We had that with Britney Spears here.
Yes.
No one dressed like that until Britney Spears was sitting there with her legs like this, and that was the Britney Spears moment. It's in the dictionary. You can look it up. It's pop culture.
Yes. No, but you know where it actually started earlier.
Yeah, and then Miley Cyrus and then Madonna took it to the next level.
No, but Madonna was before Britney Spears.
Yeah.
If we're going to do a pop show, Madonna was before Britney Spears.
Yeah. It all depends.
Madonna thing, the midriff.
Oh, she's just right now. She is getting after it. She's posting all kinds of stuff. I don't know what's going on with her. It's weird. She's like 60-something years old. Everyone all of a sudden wants.
Touring?
Oh yeah, everyone just wants to start posting pictures of themselves just naked
because we got nothing to do.
Yeah, that's the sex book she came out with in the 90s. Okay,
that was
now,
phenomenal.
No.
I
ain't doing hairy armpits. Sorry, can't do it.
No, I can't.
I'm not doing hairy armpits. You ladies can do whatever you want, but I'm
going to pivot on that one.
Shave the legs. I'll shave my face every 2 days. You shave your legs every 2 days.
Let me pivot on that one for just a second because I'm going to tell you about an adolescent experience that I had. So when I was 14, I went and played soccer in Germany for 8 weeks or 8 weeks. Yeah. With the traveling team. And there was 14 to 16. It was U16. 20 of us, I love it. I always think about our coaches, 20 of us and 3 coaches. And I remember as soon as we got on the airplane, by the time they got everybody on the airplane and accounted for, I looked back at my coach and he was drinking a bourbon. Oh. And he was drinking a bourbon because he was just, exhausted. Anyway, we were sort of not let loose. We stayed with families. We played with other soccer teams. There were female soccer teams. It was just this sort of thing. And we were 14 and we were getting a drink for the first time and the hormones. Anyway.
A drink?
Oh, yeah, because it's beer 14 to 16. It's Germany, right?
That's true, yeah.
And so people, this is a classic of American boys. We're vomiting and then playing soccer games. And it was a mess. Anyway, few of us got to be friendly and somewhat intimate with some of the German.
At the age of 14?
I was 14, but they were 16-year-olds, yeah.
Wow.
And I remember so distinctly one of them. She's beautiful. I mean, beautiful and nothing terribly intimate, but there was something, and she raised her arm.
Oh, she had hair.
And I remember thinking, to this day, I remember thinking how it went from totally attracted to her to totally unattracted. And her face didn't change.
Yeah.
Her body didn't change. I mean, other than the hair, there was nothing. She didn't smell like him. I mean, it was everything. And it was just like, oh, God, I can't. It's like your friend with the feet.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Even at 14, talk about hormones raging.
Yeah. Now, you're a psychologist now, and you're a smart man, and you're a brilliant guy. Would that change now if you went out with a woman and she didn't necessarily shave?
It's unappealing to me.
It is unappealing.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's unappealing to me. So
it's ingrained in our brains that we're not supposed to see that. And it's different looking, and it throws us off. It's not to say that we'd break up with you or divorce you or never marry you, but that would
that'd be like,
look, okay, you'd be going, okay, that's something we need to talk about.
Well, so look, that's a woman.
And she may have something to do.
That's a straight woman with a man who's got, let's just say, a pot belly and back hair.
Do you think, this is really interesting, do you think that over the course of time, do you think that we as men have tolerated more of the changes that women have gone through, or that women have tolerated more of the changes men? Because men really haven't changed that much. Well, let's say, what's the biggest change, say, over the last 20 or 25, 30 years that men have gone through? Because we are more effeminate? because we're willing to wear tight. Because guys would never wear tight pants. We wouldn't wear skirts. We wouldn't wear kilts.
Culture. I mean, there's
cultural, fashion-wise, and again, from country to country, it's
but
different.
In this country, things like, I mean, I don't know, going fashion, things like
we talked about the whole makeup thing yesterday.
Yeah, makeup. But I was also going to say expectations, things around like I'm going parenting. The last 20, 30 years, make it 30 years. There is much more. There's an expectation of men to be involved in parenting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge one.
It's very true.
And and it's interesting you say that. And
very true.
The response that women will give you is the reason that there has been less changes is because it's been a male-dominated society. Yeah. And as I tell men this all the time, like, don't live in denial, dude. It's not that women are taking over. It's equaling out. It's equaling out, and you are losing your unfair advantage that you created. Yep. And so now it's equaling out. So you got two ways to go with this. You either go with it and adapt to the changes. And I mean, there's things that you can like and not like, or you fight it, and people are just going to pass you by. They're just going to pass. They're going to pass you by. Yep. That goes with everything from being more involved in parenting to having women work to homosexual relationships. I mean, all the things that you see people stand up going, I can't believe what's happening in this country.
Yep.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. And so, yeah, the makeup thing, manscaping. Dude, look at, I showed you that video. Yeah. What was it? Island Girl? What's that? Oh, what's not Island Girl? What's that? I forget.
I cannot believe that we waited as long as we did to manscape.
But that's what I mean. Think about it.
Because the first time I did it, and I did it because I lost a bet and I had to get waxed from top to bottom. And after I had it done, I was like,
look at you.
And I remember going to Vegas and I was coming out of the shower. My brother was staying in the same room with me. He's like, what the hell did you do? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, where's your hair? And I was like, dude, I said, dude, it is. Now, not all of it, because there needs to be just a little friction there. But I said, it's the best thing in the world. And he's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, look, you look like you got buckwheat in a headlock down there, dude. I said, you would be. I said, and your wife is going to love it too. He's like, she would. He goes, first of all, she's going to think I'm cheating. And I said, let her do it for you. Let her cut it for you. Oh, no. That's, I mean, I've done a little trimming myself.
I mean, but chest hair. Think about chest hair. Think about the
there's some parts of the body that the legs. I mean, I get it if you want to be. I get bodybuilders. I know some guys that have done it. And they'll do it like once or twice, and then they're like done with it, and they'll let the hair grow. Now, it depends on how hairy you are. You don't. Well,
like you don't. Look, what are we doing? This is the hair show.
No, after it all started with Damon Johnson. After you get waxed one time, you realize how much you actually like having a little hair. And some women don't like guys that are like. Yep. But it depends on what you look like. If you get a six pack, I fully understand if you want to manscape from head to bottom. But if you look like me, and you got a little belly on you or something like that, then it doesn't. Yeah. No, but the manscaping thing is like that's a must. And now,
why don't we get them as a sponsor?
And now I have a 14 and a 16-year-old from Guatemala, and those boys are hairy.
Well,
I mean, they're already starting to get the thing, and so I'll see them and I go, hey, listen. And we've had this discussion. At the age of 14, is it too early to manscape? The answer is no. I'm like, hey, listen, if this is something and they kind of looking at me, I'm like, I'm just telling you, you would be amazed. You do it yourself. You experiment with it. You see how it feels for you. But I'm telling you, it's a lot more expensive because there's pinching and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, yeah, I don't understand. I don't know anyone that doesn't do that anymore.
But think about in the 70s, 80s.
Well, women too. There wasn't no ladyscaping. Look at an old penthouse from 1981.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, dude, we used to be the norm.
Yeah.
It's still the norm for some of us.